In case you hadn't noticed, I gave up on any kind of YouTube video theme a while ago now. I don't even expect my videos to get many views, so I'm just going to produce whatever content I like. I'm hoping that the use of a microphone today will cover up the fact that we are having building work done on this building. Roof work. The building next door is actually being built still, and opposite us on the other side of the street there is also building work being done there. Oh, and on the street they were resurfacing the street. I think they might have pretty much finished now though. It's stressing me out a lot, and I hope that you don't hear any of that, which I can. So at the moment what is on my mind more and more is what I would like to term toxic overachievement. The reason I've been thinking about this is because I've been getting a bit more back into Japan related stuff and revisiting my memories from year abroad in said country. So my classmates and I were given a long list of universities that would accept us in Japan on this exchange program they had with my university in London. I will talk about this more during the video, but my upbringing resulted in this attitude where instead of considering what would be better for my personal, social and emotional well-being, I immediately gravitated towards the university which would be relatively difficult to get into due to it being relatively prestigious. And the reason I bring this up is because I had a pretty miserable time. My depression kicked off real bad due to feeling isolated, away from any of my classmates who I would have actually potentially got along with. Missed that opportunity. And I ended up cheating on my boyfriend at the time because of the whole long distance thing, which is not an excuse, but that was the result. I'm definitely not excusing myself. Don't do that. It's bad unless you have that agreed prior to that happening. Some people are fine with that. I'm just saying that that's what happened. I am completely open about the fact that that happened. And I've been kind of messed up ever since. Getting better now. Doing therapy and stuff. Therapy is good. Do therapy if you need therapy. Whereas, I don't know of course, but I imagine that this would be the case if I had chosen a university based on enjoyment and fulfillment rather than academic standing. I think things might have turned out pretty different. So a little more about my personal history with this. My father raised me to always try my best, which is a great way to raise your kids actually. However, when it gets to the stage of being disappointed in them when they get less than an A grade, or putting so much pressure on them that they feel that they can't live up to your expectations, that's when things go a bit sour. So that was my case. I'm an only child and all of my parents' hopes and dreams rest on my shoulders. Probably especially seeing as they're also divorced. And yeah, my mum has some boyfriends sometimes. My dad has no girlfriends or anyone. So that also places a lot more pressure on one's shoulders. People with sibling issues are always saying how jealous they are of me and my childhood because it must have been so fantastic getting everything you want. And I'm like, do you know how much I've needed someone there with me in my life? And now as well? It's really not that great playing alone with your imagination. I invented many games. And knowing that if you fail at life, your parents have no other options except disappointment. My interpretation of being an only child is again probably linked to the immense pressure to achieve which was placed on me since birth. I didn't really hang out with my friends much, especially when it got to secondary school and especially when it got to GCSE level. I'm actually not gifted at all, which many people seem to think I was when I did well at a lot of things, at least academically. Most people I talk to now tell me how easily they passed their GCSEs. Yeah, not me. I studied so hard and was probably the only one who did. And guess what? It has no impact on my life now. I'm actually really bad at retaining information. I love information, I love knowledge, but it just won't stay in my head. This hit me really hard at AS and A level because I was studying really hard every day. I wouldn't even talk to my friends during lunch breaks. I would still be studying and eating at the same time, probably. I had no social life at all, and to this day still have issues with that, to the point where my boyfriend is concerned about the fact that I don't seem to have any friends. So anyway, I still got B's in most of my subjects, and even a D in one of my maths exams, which is actually a grade I had never got before, and the feeling was weird. It wasn't actually necessarily negative, it was kind of like, I'm bad at maths. Just bad at maths. Look everyone, I'm bad at maths. I think that's okay actually. So my dad finally let me give up on maths so I didn't have to do it for A level. After years of me insisting how much I hated it, didn't get it, and wanted to do the same subjects as my friends because social life. And actually those subjects sounded a lot more interesting. Psychology for instance, which all of my friends did. And I also really wanted to do, but I had to do maths, so... My point in making this video is that I feel it's important for children and young people to understand that there are things more important in life than academia. Of course, it is still important to try your best, because you never know. You might want to do something academic in the future, and learning is a very good thing. To learn things about science, how things work, our history, geography, countries and their cultures. So many things. Learning will make you a well-rounded person. And there's obviously nothing bad about trying your best and trying to achieve. This becomes a negative thing when grades take priority over other things we should be learning and experiencing in our youth, such as socialization, friendship, physical fitness, music, and other activities that shape who we are as a person. Going back to my original Japanese university example, it has taken me until past my mid-20s to get to the stage where I actually have some concept of who I am, what I like, and what I want to do with my life. A lot of my school friends who didn't even go to university, because it wasn't what they wanted to do, which is fine. Not everyone needs or wants to go to university, and frankly it didn't really do me any favours. Some of those friends have achieved so much more in life than me so far. They have a house, a dog, a full-time job with a stable income, maybe they're married, they have good friends. You get the idea. My parents most likely thought that this pressure to achieve would help me achieve, and that by this point I would be some successful businesswoman or doctor or architect. I'm definitely not. I did so well at school. In uni, I missed a first by literally 1 mark in 1 exam, mainly due to crippling depression and an abusive relationship. And I work in retail. There is literally nothing wrong with working in retail. There is nothing wrong with doing any kind of job. You're contributing to society, which is great. And we really need all sorts of people to do all sorts of jobs. And actually, I do enjoy my job because I get lots of free chocolate. It's relatively easy, it's a good company, and I get to meet lots of interesting people. My point is that it's not exactly what my parents had in mind, and at times it's not ideal, I guess. I'm hoping to get into animal care in the near future, which I actually only realised I had a passion for about a year ago. And that's totally fine. You won't usually know where your interests and passions lie until well into adulthood, don't worry. I also have to say I'm pretty good at painting, not to toot my own horn too hard, but I only started to get back into it and develop my skills properly a few years ago now, I think, after a terrible GCSE art experience that put me off for literally years, where what apparently mattered the most was not the actual artwork, but the coursework and essays that went along with it. If you're not ready to make a decision about, for example, if you want to go to university at all, or if you do want to, what you want to study, that's totally fine. It's completely normal. It's better to take your time and discover what you actually want to be doing. Maybe earn a bit of pocket money, maybe travel around the world and broaden your horizons if you are lucky enough to be able to do that, rather than just dive into something you have a vague interest in or something that your family wants you to do. That wasn't actually my case because I just did something I was interested in, but the only reason I did go to university at all when I was unsure about whether I even wanted to do that was because my parents told me I had to. I could have saved several years of my life, an experience in an abusive relationship and mental health problems, many tens of thousands of pounds, and would probably be in a better financial and general life position by now. But that's just speculation, I don't actually know. I guess one important thing to note and to take away from this is that your parents aren't always right. They're just human. Even if they want the best for you, they have good intentions most of the time. The most important thing to take away from this, though, is that school is important, learning is important. But if you struggle at a certain subject, don't beat yourself up. Don't let your parents bring you down. I hope they're not doing that, but you get what I mean. Maybe you're gifted in other ways, is my point. Maybe you love music and one day you'll be a great musician, but you tried your best at science and it just wouldn't stick. Maybe you love reading and you love English literature class, but geography you just can't wrap your head around. Will you need to know about igneous rock when you're an insightful columnist or literary critic? Maybe you have an exam next week, but your friend is having a big birthday party that you really want to go to. I think it's important for you to participate in that social activity and develop your friendships and your social abilities, and you can study for that exam on other days. Achieving is great, but don't let it take over your life and leave you with little to nothing else besides. Much love, and I'll see you next time. Bye!